Okay, so notifications out. Hey, hey, okay, I see people coming in. Welcome, y'all. Look at me being consistent, being live on here every week. I hope you guys appreciate me going live here on Instagram every week because y'all know I have been neglecting this account for a long time. Hey, ladies, you glad you catch a live? Okay, I'm glad you guys are here. So, I think I will just jump right into it because I already posted the question on my in my stories, and so far I got a couple of questions that stood out to me. One, why it's not a good idea to move in with your boyfriend, and the second one is, what was the second one? Why do provider men test you during marriage? I think it's that. So let's address the first concern. Why you should move in with your boyfriend. Um, and I know because especially now with the millennials, because they think it's normal to move in together, and they're not just moving in together; they're moving in, buying houses together, and doing all of that stuff. But there are many examples where this does not work because there is no guarantee you moving in with your boyfriend is going to lead to marriage. There is there is only one occasion where it's acceptable to move in with your man. Well, two, it depends. Well, first of all, it depends on your goals, and second, if you plan to get married, the date has already been set, venue and everything has been booked, everything is just set in place, and all you have to do is just go ahead and have the wedding or get married. But if you're moving in with your boyfriend thinking that eventually you guys are going to get married, I can promise you that I believe the statistic is like about 85% of couples that move in together don't end up getting married. So you gotta understand that if you're moving in with your boyfriend, it's a risk. It is very risky, especially if your goal is marriage. It is very risky because you can move in with this guy and you're gonna be like, okay, well, we're gonna live together for 2 years, and then we get married. That 2 years is gonna turn into 5 years, and that 5 years is gonna turn into 10 years, and then you might even have kids and no marriage. And I am saying this to you guys now because I have experience. I am 41 years old, so I done my I do not know what the hell is wrong with my bangs today, y'all. I'm sorry. Okay, that's better. I've done my fair share of moving in with a guy because I moved in with, I think I'm moving with three of my past boyfriends, and those three times it never ended up in marriage. Thank you. I'm a newbie. Okay, hey girl, hey newbie. Okay, you guys are commenting. Okay, I'll read your comments in a minute. Guys, remind me to address the other question, which is why provider man tests you in marriage, because I may forget. Okay, so someone in the comment remind me when I'm done with this one. So yeah, back to moving in with your boyfriend. It is not it is too risky. And at the end of the day, you have to look at risk because at the end of the day, you are investing your time, you are investing your beauty, and more than likely you're not going to get a return on your investment, and your time and your beauty and your youth is very valuable because you guys already know what I call boyfriends. My definition of a boyfriend is youth and beauty stealer. You guys already know that. A lot of you all think it's funny, but I mean, yes, it's funny, but that is a fact. They are youth and beauty stealers. They're gonna steal your youth and your beauty. You're gonna be working, taking care of his kids, and no ring on your finger, coming home, cleaning up after him, cooking, and doing all of that wife stuff with no wife benefit. You do not want to do that because this is what is gonna happen to you if you decide to move in with your boyfriend. And on top of that, you are more than likely going to be paying half his bills. You look 10 years younger than what you are. My gosh. Oh, thank you, Janet. Yeah. Like I was saying, you are going to end up paying bills in that house, and if you, especially if you're young, more than likely he's renting. And I know in some cultures, like in America, renting is normal, but in my country, people don't really like to rent. People who are renting are people who are trying who are working, trying to save their money so that they can get a down payment on their mortgage, or that they can start building their house. That's what people in my country do. But I mean, and I think in America people be renting for life. I can't deal with that lifestyle. And one of the things that I knew that I was never ever going to do was moving with a guy who was renting, because I learned my lesson. I mean, thankfully I've never been with a guy where I had to pay help him pay bills, because that's not what I do at all, because I wouldn't be in a relationship with a guy who is unable to provide. I've never been in a relationship. Oh my god, sorry y'all. I can't edit this. But yeah, I've never been in a relationship with a dusty, because I've been in a relationship with guys who were good financially and who could take care of me. But I've never been in a relationship with a dusty, or been in a situation where I had to pay bills, I had to pay electricity bills or anything like that. I've never done that. But I have in fact moved in together, and those 3 times that I moved in together, it did not work out. It did not end in marriage. The second time I did that, we almost ended in marriage, and we would have if I had gone through with it. But this guy, I came back home. I was living in the United Kingdom, in England. I came back home for a short time. We were preparing for the wedding and everything like that. I had the ring, y'all. I had the ring. I had the dress, everything, and everything was ready for for marriage, for the next step. And then when I got back, I found out that he cheated on me, and at that time, that really bothered me, because I felt like I couldn't trust him. And at one point I was actually going to go through with it, and I was like, you know what, if he's doing this and we're not married, God only knows what he will do when we get married. And then even though he was providing for me and stuff like that, he had financial problems. So everything was restrictive. Like we couldn't go on vacations, I couldn't go shopping and stuff like that. And because I couldn't get a job, I was pretty young, y'all. I was like in my 20s. I couldn't get a job because I didn't have the right visa or a work permit and stuff like that. So I was like, Maria, you look bomb, thanks, girl. I was very dependent on him. So moving in with your boyfriend is not a good idea at all. You are better off getting a roommate. Because think about it this way: if you have a roommate, and you can still keep your boyfriend, you can still have your boyfriend, if if you really like your boyfriend or you love your boyfriend or whatnot, you can still keep your boyfriend. However, having a roommate who is not your boyfriend, is you have the benefit where you have that freedom, so that you can date other men and see other people, until you find someone who is willing to put a ring on your finger. Because at the end of the day, you do not want a guy taking you off the market without that marriage certificate. That marriage certificate, that is a legal document, and it is very important. It is recognized by the law. It's not just a piece of paper. Okay, let me read this comment. Oh, sorry, I read that comment already. Girl, never again, not even with my gay roomie. I'm moving next month. Yeah. I had gotten to a point where I had roommates before, and then at one point I was living alone, because I feel like I do better without roommates. The last roommate I had was with my sister, and I was living with my sister, and it's family, and I was comfortable being with my sister instead of being with a stranger. And I had broken up with my ex at the time, and I came back to Trinidad because I was living in Panama. I came back to Trinidad, and I was living with my sister at the time. And that's when I started dating my then husband. He asked me to move in with him, and because of what I went through and because of what I learned from living with a guy 3 times, I thought, well, you know what, I'm getting older, I don't have time to be moving with anyone. So I told him straight. I was like, you know what, I am not going to live with someone that I'm not married to. It's not going to happen. I don't believe in living together before marriage, because I don't want to do that. And eventually, because I put my foot down and I showed him I basically asserted my standards, he proposed. I hate roommates. Yeah, I'm not a fan of roommates either. But when you're young, if you cannot afford to live on your own, you are better off getting a roommate. And I know being with a roommate is tough, but you do not want to be living with a guy who you're sleeping with and having his babies and going half on the bills, like 50-50. Like, you don't want to do that. You are better off with a roommate. I promise you guys this, because, and I'm telling you this from experience, because I've been through it. I've done it all. I've lived with boyfriends, moved in with boyfriends, and it never ended up in marriage, because, you know, when the topic of marriage comes up, they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about it. You know, so the only acceptable time that you should move in with your boyfriend, if you must, okay, is because he already proposed, you already are already planning the marriage, the venue and everything is ready, and you shouldn't even be living with him more than 6 months before the marriage. That's the only time I think it's acceptable to move in with your boyfriend. Other than that, please avoid it at all costs. Hey Hannah, avoid moving in with your boyfriend at all costs. So what else do I have to speak on this topic? Because you guys can ask questions in the comments, because, you know, I wanted this to be a Q&A, but, you know, I wanted to come live before I started losing the light, because I'm sitting at my close to the window. Who's here? How old were you? How old I was when I got married? I don't understand the question. How old were you? The luxurious roses. What do you mean? So, ladies, do not move in with your boyfriend. And if you think, and that's another thing. A lot of you guys move in with these men, and you don't even talk about marriage. Like, you know, you move in and you think, well, okay, we're living together. You know, the natural step is, the next step naturally is marriage. It's not gonna happen, because, you know, the old people are right. The old people said that, you know, why buy the cow when you can get the milk for free? They are so right. They weren't lying, okay? Ways how provider men test you in marriage was the next topic, I think. Okay, yes. Any tips on getting boyfriend to propose without any forced feeling? I don't understand that. Like, with force, we mean forced feelings. If I don't understand that, because at the end of the day, we did talk about reasons why men get married, and if he's not proposing to you right now, maybe his marriage is not on his mind. When I realized it wasn't good moving in with men, that was after my my ex, and I believe I was 32 or 33 at the time. I can also kill romance too, especially the splitting bills part. Yes, it does kill the romance. And on many cases, when you move in with your boyfriend, usually this man is not doing well financially. So more than likely you are sharing the same bed and you're sharing the same bathroom. I will never share the same bathroom with a man. Okay? I have my entire side of the house. Like, this side of the house is my side. My husband have the other side to the house to himself. He has his own bathroom, he has his own room and everything like that. And, you know, it was the same with my ex, because, you know, I do not like sharing a bathroom with a man. I hate doing that. Okay, I've only had one ex that I could share a bathroom with, and, you know, he was very well trained, but usually these men are going to leave the seat up. You're going to be getting up at 2 a.m. in the morning, rushing to the toilet. You know, you go sit down, and then you're not sitting on the seat, you're sitting on the rim, and it has pee on it. You know, you go to the sink where they shave, and you see like all the little hairs and stuff like that. I don't like that at all. I do not like sharing a bathroom with a man. I believe in maintaining mystery in a relationship. As a woman, if you want a man to stay being interested and you know, keep being attracted to you, you have to maintain some kind of mystery. He doesn't need to know what your poo smells like. He needs to know all of that. Okay? Everything I say is true. Yes, I know it's true, because it absolutely is. It absolutely is, you know. So I agree with the bathroom. Silly me. I open my mouth to say I will not share a bathroom and get pushback. You get pushback from who? Don't if you do not want to share. If you're okay sharing a bathroom and a room with your boyfriend or your husband or something like that, that's fine. I'm not against it, but I would not recommend it, because at the end of the day, me and my husband are still my husband is still very much attracted to me. He still is. And I believe that if we were sleeping in the same bed and he was seeing me what I look like when I get up in the morning, you know, smelling my breath and stuff like that, I don't think, you know, he would be I don't know. I don't know. When is the next money month on Patreon? There wouldn't be another money month on Patreon. I mean, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying never, but right now no. And we are still talking about money in the group. Okay, so ways that a provider man tests you. Okay, men, it doesn't matter if they're providers or not. All men will test you, all of them. A man could be doing the bare minimum and he will test you. A man wouldn't even buy you a coffee and he will test you. So I want you to get that straight, that it doesn't matter if he's a provider or not, he is going to test you. So let's say, for example, you are in a sugar baby sugar daddy situation, and he knows that he's supposed to give you your allowance on Friday, and then Friday comes along and you don't get anything and he doesn't say anything. And you're like, what's going on? Best believe that that is definitely a test, because he's going to test to see how you're going to react or whatnot. If you feel you are being tested, you have to nip it in the bud. Okay? And you're going to be like, hey, where's my money? Where's my allowance? Or something like that. Don't let them test you like that, because at the end of the day, especially if he thinks that, you are dependent on him for that allowance, he is going to try to test you to see what you're going to put up with and what he can get away with. So this is why I always tell women that I'm talking, that you women that I teach or whatever, you can mentor, whatever you want to call it. I always tell you ladies that you should always have your own money, your own income, and emergency fund. You need to have several bags. You need to be talking to more than one man. Okay, if you are not married and you're in a sugar daddy sugar baby situation, or you're dating a guy and he's taking care of you and he's paying your bills, that man will test you. Okay, in marriage, don't let a man test you in marriage, because at the end of the day, you're married. Okay, and my husband is not going to get away with any of that bullshit, because I will call him out. I will check him. Do not be afraid to check a nigga. Okay. In the old days, people didn't share a bedroom, let alone a bath. Sharing all that is broke stuff. Yes, it really is, because the only people that were sharing bedrooms and bathrooms were the peasants, because they couldn't afford to have bigger houses to accommodate them and their kids. Can I still be a part of the hypergamous mindset movement if I have not intention to date? You do not want to date? Well, hypergamy means dating or marrying up. But, if you are listening to me right now and you're following the hypergamous mindset page, it means that at some point you would want to date or marry hypergamously at some point. So that I do not know how to answer that question, but I mean, if you're here for a reason. A man told me he was getting me a car, and 4 months later, no car. That is a test, or he just changed his mind. You see what? I don't know the nature of the situation and your relationship, but if I were you, I'd call him up and ask him, "Where's my car? I thought you were getting me a car. Where's my car?" Girl, I'm on my emergency fund since my fiance and I are not together. Okay, you need to call your fiance and maybe ask him for some money. If you can still do that, because I can call all my exes and ask for money. But I don't, because I don't need to. Or you need to figure out a way, to create another stream of income, because there are too many ways that you can make money now. Nobody has an excuse to not make money. So yeah, if you're in your emergency fund, that's fine, don't worry about it. But try and create another stream of income. If you need to get a job, go get a job, or find someone, ask anyone, reach out to any of those guys in your contacts and ask them to send you money. It's a dark femininity workshop on Patreon. I'm still working on that. I do not know when that's going to happen, because there are some legal stuff that I have to go through, okay, before I launch the dark femininity workshop, because first of all, I will have to pay you. You guys will have to pay. I don't want to be accepting that kind of money on PayPal, because PayPal is very, very fickle. PayPal is known to shutting down and freezing your account, and I do not want that to happen to me. I cannot afford to lose my PayPal, so I will have to, register a business, and and create a way that you guys can pay me, and bypass, without having to go through PayPal. I mean, you can still pay with PayPal, but there should be like another way, instead of you paying directly to my personal PayPal account, if you know what I mean. So that's something that I'm working on. Okay, so it's on the works, and that's another reason why I don't really like too much. I don't really like, you know, getting a bunch of people in the groups, because that means that a lot of people will have to be sending me money on my PayPal. The safest way, the safest way for you guys to support me right now financially is a Patreon, and that's one of the reasons why I made it so accessible for you guys and affordable. They used to go. Yes, I was on Clubhouse today, girl. I am planning to do a Clubhouse with Rivka, so that should happen soon. Has anyone ever told you that you look like Rihanna? Oh, thanks, girl. But no, I get Sana Latin a lot. I get her. People say I look like her a lot. I get that a lot. So yeah. Yeah. So back to what was the topic? Yeah, back to guys testing you. These guys will test you, and if ever they and when they're doing it, they're very manipulative, because they are not doing this by mistake or by accident, or maybe it's to their mind or something like that. If you feel like you are being tested, trust and believe that you are being tested, and the only way for you to stop that behavior is you have to call it out immediately and nip it in the bud and let them know that this is unacceptable. Okay, if he doesn't come to you with your allowance on Friday, you do not speak to him until you get your money. You missed the Clubhouse. That's okay, girl. There will always be more room. I hope that was helpful, because as I say, I can't see the other questions. Any tips on dating during the pandemic? It depends on where you are right now, because we did do that on the Patreon. We did an event on the Patreon, dating during the pandemic. If you're not signed up to the Patreon, I would recommend that you sign up now and you go and you listen to that event. Once you get on the Patreon, you got to scroll down until you find the event, because I have events on Patreon going back April of last year, okay, almost a year. So go on there. I had a guest on there. I had a girl who is very successful with online dating and stuff like that, and not just online dating, but she's using her strategy. She shared her strategies and stuff like that on how to date during the pandemic. So I would recommend that you do that. If you miss a book club, can we watch later on Patreon? Yes, you can watch the book club meeting on Patreon if you are signed up to the book club tier. And speaking of which, ladies, I will upload the replay for Sunday. I forgot you all. I'm going to upload a replay of the book club that we did on Sunday. I'm going to do that tonight. My sugar daddy wants to fly out to Mexico. How can I get him to pay for plastic surgery? Ask. Don't be afraid to ask. Closed mouths don't get fed. Okay? If you don't, and then again, you gotta know the type of guy that you're asking. When you are dealing with a man, because you all know I had my cousin Simba on my last Patreon event, and she is a jet set girl. Okay? She will ask a bunch of guys for the same thing. And one thing that you ladies must consider is that there's a high possibility that you will not be able to get everything you want from one guy. So if you are still single and you're still dating and stuff like that, and you need stuff, you need to have a roster, and you need to be asking more than one guy for the same thing. Okay, I've read a story about a Chinese girl asked about 10 guys for an iPhone. They all gave her an iPhone and she sold them. So yes, she was very thank you, she was she was very, very transparent and very upfront. She was my guest on my last Patreon, so go and check out the replay. And she's a real jet set girl, not that fake stuff. Okay, that's what she does for a living. She flies all over the world. She dates a bunch of men. She's on yachts. These men are taking care of her. She's never had a job since she left college. I realized from my first marriage that men are so selfish. Unless you act like a bitch. That's how I got married to my second husband. I became super selfish. Yeah, my husband accused me of being selfish. At least once a week I get that and I don't care. Because I remember in the beginning of my marriage I would try to curb that selfish behavior, and it didn't work because he just got more things to complain about. And you know what, I just went back to being myself. I went back to being a savage. And at least now he only complains about one thing, because I'm not giving you a reason for you to complain about other things, because once you start trying to change, they are going to find other things to complain about. So don't do it. People say this about me and it hurts my feelings. What do they say about you? I love Simba. Yes, it is okay to be selfish. That's fine. Because men are selfish and they don't get flack for it at all. Why is it only women have to be selfless? That is not that. Anyways, let's because this is gonna go up on YouTube and I don't want to get too that you're selfish. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with being selfish. It's okay. It's okay. Some people are selfless and some people are selfish. You need both types of people in the world. It's balance, baby. Balance. Yin and yang, nature. Okay, so we're on the same book. We're on the same book. I saw a question. Yeah, so how do you get a guy to ask to pay for plastic surgery? Just ask. But again, you gotta understand the man that you are dating, because a lot of women, they don't know their target. Some men will gladly pay for education, but that same man wouldn't want to pay you for plastic surgery. Okay, some men will pay you for plastic surgery, but they wouldn't want to pay for education. Some guys will pay for Louis Vuitton, but they wouldn't want to pay your rent. It depends on the type of guy. Okay, so if looks is important to him and you think he will appreciate plastic surgery, then that's the guy you ask. If you think he's one of those guys that prefer natural, you don't ask for plastic surgery. Ask for something else. Okay, maybe make up something. Like, you don't have to be honest. I wonder, how do I avoid intimacy with men? How do you avoid intimacy with men? Okay. Men as in plural, or the guy you're dating? Because it's easy. Like, you just keep your legs closed. Unless if you're having sex with men and they're not your boyfriend and they're not paying your bills and stuff like that, then what are you doing? Okay, so you should be charging them. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so it depends on all you have to say is that you only have sex when you're in a committed relationship. Only when you're in a committed relationship, that's the only time I have sex. If you're not in a committed relationship with that person, you do not need to be having sex with anybody in the beginning. In the beginning, girl, who is this? You have to DM me, because we need to talk. Like, yeah, in the beginning, sex shouldn't even be on the table, because you are getting to know this person. Why are you having sex with somebody in the beginning? And when you say the beginning, like, how soon are we talking about? How long does it take me to get ready? It can take, this look took about 45 minutes. But, I can get it done in 30 minutes. And, because I have bangs, I can always, I don't have to, like, do too much with my eyebrows and stuff like that. I don't have to put, like, a lot of eyeshadow. So, that takes away some of the time. No, I wouldn't, but they would pressure. Okay. They are testing you. You do not owe anybody sex. You do not know. I don't care if this man buys you a Ferrari. You do not owe him sex. All you owe him is thank you. That's it. You only have sex when you want to and when you feel it's safe, and you have sex when you're in a committed relationship. And there are requirements to get you in a committed relationship. And if one of those requirements is him taking care of you and paying your bills and stuff like that, you let him know that that is your requirement of being in a committed relationship. And that's it. Exactly. Intimacy shouldn't be on the table until there's a commitment. So if men are pressuring you to have sex, there is something about you that are telling them that you are, um, either you are giving off vibes that you are low value, or you are dating. I don't want to say low value men, because any guy would try you, any guy. But there is something about you that are causing these men to think that, you know, they think it's okay to pressure you for sex. Because I'm gonna tell you something that used to be me when I was younger. And if you're in your 20s, you are gonna get that a lot, even more. You're gonna have problems with that even more, if especially if you're young and in your 20s. That is gonna be one of the biggest problems. Okay, so you're gonna have guys trying to pressure you into having sex. And I do not know the situation and the type of guys you're dating or whatnot. Someone said boundaries. That is very important as well. So if you come across as someone that is very like a pushover, someone that is easily manipulated, then that's probably why that is happening. And you gotta look at yourself, look at and everything. Like you gotta look at everything, the way you dress, the way you live. Are you telling these people too much about you? um did you grow up without your daddy, like all of that stuff? Because this is why you don't tell people these type of things. Because if a man knows that you grew up without a father, and you grew up in a struggling, and they're gonna think, well, this, but nobody gives a shit about this person, even her own daddy abandoned her, so I can take advantage of this person. You do not want any guy to think that you are someone who he can easily manipulate and pressure into doing something that you do not want to do. But there is absolutely something about you that is causing men to think that it's okay to pressure you into having sex. And that's something that you have to work on. I do not know what it is, because I am not you, but you just have to figure it out. Men will try to pressure you regardless of the age. If you correct a man correctly, they won't try you in that way or again. Yeah, like my listen, my husband didn't pressure me into sex at all. At all. You know, he knew that I wasn't ready. I mean, they will definitely ask. All of them are gonna ask, and all of them are gonna try. But if you feel like they are pressuring you, that is very predatory and very disrespectful. Because a normal guy would ask and try, and then once you assert your boundaries and you tell him that I'm not ready for this, he's gonna be very patient. And also, I know men who waited for a woman for years. Like my sister is dating someone for over a year, and they haven't had sex, and he's paying her bills, he's taking care of her, and she hasn't slept with him yet. And I mean, when I say taking care of her, like, he's not taking care of everything, because if he was taking care of everything, she would have been having sex with him. But she has her options open. Men text with sex, give it up, and they are gone quick. Yes, and so do not give in. Keep your legs as close as long as possible. Like, please do not uh let anyone pressure you into doing something that you don't want to do. If you are not ready, you are not ready. Okay, and another thing is, a guy needs to be investing in you in order for you to want to have sex with him. You do not have sex with a guy who took you out on a drinks date. That's not the guy you have sex with. You don't have sex with that guy because he took you out to a dinner at a five-star restaurant. Because if this is something that he's used to doing, like, he's used to going to five-star restaurants, then that's not a big deal. He doesn't deserve sex because he took you to a five-star restaurant. If he does that all the time, then that's not an investment to him. What about moving in with a man before marriage? We talked about that in the beginning of this live. So if I were you, I would catch the replay when I upload it on YouTube. But what about love? What about it? I would entertain the thought of love as soon as they figure out a way to pay bills with love and go to the bank with love. Okay? Love is not a good reason to have sex. as soon as I figure out a way to turn that into currency and I could use it, because like, you can go to the stock market and invest love. Come on, and I swear to God, if you're over 25 and you're still thinking about love, you need to get smacked upside the head. Okay. Prestige, I know you true, but that's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it. That's actually a good question because y'all, as soon as I can pay my bills and pay rent with love, and go and buy plane tickets with love, then I would start thinking about love. But for now, what about it? What about it? Y'all, I love this blush filter. It gives me blush. Anyways, anyone has any question? So yeah, as for men testing you, they will always test you. They will always, always, always try you. I can sit here and come up with so many scenarios all day, but we're gonna be here all day. The minute I saw who wrote that, I was like, yeah. Girl, she knows better. Your Prestige is in my group, y'all. Prestige, you an avid supporter of mine, and I appreciate that very much. Thank you. If the guy needs to hear love, then it comes only after he spent a lot of money. Yeah, y'all. I'm tired of telling you guys. You all need to read, okay? This book, The Social Climbers Bible. If you were in my book club, you remember, what did it say in the book? You do not admit to a man that you have feelings for him or you love him, not even if he buys you a Ferrari. That is not for men that you're just dating. It's not for boyfriends. Okay? No. That is for husbands, after they have proven themselves and after they have taken you off the market. No, I don't argue with men. Do I ever argue with men? I don't argue with men. Do not argue with men at all. And a lot of women are spending a lot of time and wasting their energy arguing with men online, especially in Clubhouse, because your Clubhouse can get ghetto so fast. Like, you can start a room on Clubhouse, and when you bring men in there, it gets super ghetto. But I do not argue with a man, because first of all, if you are arguing with a man, it means that you are emotional about something, because women, we are more emotionally intelligent. Your emotions are going to flare up at some point, especially if you feel like you're not winning the argument. And a man will always use his logic to win the argument, which is why you don't argue with a man. You don't. Do not expel your energy, your feminine energy and your essence arguing with a man, because men are always trying to get your attention, and even if it means you getting angry with them or arguing with them, because at the end of the day, negative attention is still attention. They don't care if it's negative attention. They don't care if you cuss them out or if you destroy them in an argument. Attention is attention. You do not give these men your attention like that. They have to earn it. If yes, you can. If you think saying "I love you" to get what you want, say it. Do you do Zoom meetings on the book? Yes, that's how we do the book club meetings. We do Zoom meetings. That's what we do. We come together. How do you just... Okay, I read that. Girl, they roasted me on Clubhouse. They roast you on Clubhouse? That place is so ghetto. I'm not arguing with nobody anymore. Arguing is low vibrational. We discussed that book on the book club Zoom. Yes, we did. I am a loyal Android Samsung user, and I don't feel like I'm missing out on anything on Clubhouse. Girl, if I were you, I would switch to Apple, because right now Facebook and Google are fighting for your information, and they're really, really mad at Apple. If you care about your privacy and stuff like that, switch to Apple. But if you like your Android, that's fine, because they're all good devices. It's saved on Patreon. That book, The Social Climbers Bible, I did not save that on Patreon because that was one of the first book we did when we first launched the book club. So I did not record those meetings. But every other book we did after that, yes, I did record them. Even if you are more logical, he'll convince himself you're not. Exactly. So do not argue with these men. What is this title of the Zoom meet? The title of the Zoom meet. The Zoom meeting. Um I don't know, like you have to be in my group and you have to be on my Patreon study group tier in order for you to get access to the book club meetings. Some men look for opportunities to argue. It's like they get a rush from it. Yes, they absolutely do. Yes, I remember you saying this one on one of your book clubs. Yes, do not argue with men. I told someone she's too manly. That's why she keeps getting played. Let's just say that Clubhouse went crazy. Lord, y'all need to stop. Listen, as soon as I go into a room and I see a bunch of men on the stage, I leave. If they're not talking about money or business, I am not interested in what a man has to say. And to you ladies that are hosting rooms and talking about level up and stuff like that, you all need to stop that because these men are in your rooms listening and they go on Twitter, they go on YouTube and they start posting, and next thing you know, they go on with your entire audience and they're charging your audience, and you could have been making that coin. That's what I'm saying. I wish I met you earlier in my life, but I'm happy I'm here now. Oh, thank you, Melanie. Yes, thanks for the suggestion, but aside from makeup, okay, I don't understand that. Some of these snacks will intentionally trigger you to get that attention. Yes, do not give them that attention. People do that. People will press your buttons on purpose. If you're the type of person that is easily triggered, quick to fly off the handle, people will always be trying you. And this is one of the reasons why you do not argue. And I tell you guys this all the time. Delayed reaction is so important. How often do I do the meetings? We do the meetings every Sunday. This life made me realize how much level up I'm not mentally. Oh, I'm sorry. But girl, we all started somewhere. The Zoom meetings are weekly and Maria is very, very active in the Patreon. Yes, thank you, Body Needs by Shell. Thank you. Y'all, listen, ladies, go to the link in the description here on Instagram and follow the link. You're going to see my Patreon and my other links. I think I have a Facebook group in there. I think it's my free Facebook group. I have a free Facebook group because the women that do not pass the screening test to get into the hypergamous mindset group, those women, I put them in the free group because if you are not leveled up at a certain level, I wouldn't take you in the group because I ask this type of questions. I need to know how long you've been on your journey. I need to know what you've been doing and what results you've been getting in order for me to bring you into the hypergamous mindset group. So, if you can't get in the group, you can join the free group and you can come on my Patreon. Maria, how do one identify a knack provider man? A knack provider man? If he's being manipulative and abusive, that's it. Okay, because a knack will find ways to abuse you. Okay, they will find ways like, especially, listen, a man would start off giving you money. And not just narcissists will do that. All men will do this at some point. Let's say, I'm just using $1,000. This is just an example. It doesn't have to be $1,000 because you should be getting more than that. But let's say you're getting $1,000 a month. Then the next month he gives you $800. And you'll be like, oh, what happened? And he's gonna be like, yeah, blah blah blah, stuff happened, this, that, he'll come with some excuse and he'll be nonchalant or something like that. If you don't do anything about that right then and there, you're going to see $500, you're going to see $300, and you're going to see $200. That's what happened to me. And that's what happened to me in all my previous failed relationships. Because I was like, well, okay, because you're so understanding and blah, blah, blah. One of the girls in the group said that she asked one of her guys for money and she asked for a specific amount. I don't know if you guys remember her, but I think she went live and she talked about it in the group, y'all. She said that she just gave him back the money. She was like, okay, well, when you have all the money, then come check me. And this is why you cannot have desperate energy, and you cannot be dealing with financial desperation when you're dealing with these men, because if they think that you are financially desperate, that's how they're going to try you. Because a man doesn't need to know how much money you earn. He doesn't need to know your other streams of income, your side hustle. He need to know none of that. So that's basically one of the ways how they manipulate you. Men always give advice to women that'll benefit other men and not women. Child, one thing I'm glad I learned from you is not to listen to men. Yeah, I would not listen. I don't even listen to them. Like, I wouldn't I wouldn't take advice from my husband on certain things. There's some things that I wouldn't take advice on from my husband, like something like networking. I wouldn't take it as his advice, and for some reason they always think that they can come and give you advice, but they wouldn't accept their own, they won't follow their own advice. I'm like, I'm not gonna listen to you because, you know, no. But anyway, there are some things about, there are things I will take his advice for, because especially if he's good at that. But when it comes to dating and relationship, a man does not know what it's like to be a woman. They do not know your struggle. Because, they will use this logic, the logical thing to do is to listen to a man because you're getting a man's perspective. However, a man will never do or say anything that goes against his self-interest and the self-interest of other men. Men are very, very loyal towards each other, because men need male validation. They need it more than us. Because there's a lot of women out here seeking male validation, but guess what? Other men are seeking that same guy's validation. Yes, another thing. Thank you, Safa. Everything he gives you, he will try to make you feel guilty. If you're dating that guy and, every time he gives you something, he has to point it out and he has to remind you what he did for you, and I did this and I did that, and he's doing that constantly, don't, that's a narcissist, and run far from that person, because I have never given anything to anyone. I help people all the time. I give away my clothes and stuff to charity. If I don't give it to charity, I give it to my cousins or whatnot. I give money. I have people who come to me and they need help, and I help all the people all the time. I'm not out here bragging and talking about it, and I'm not here constantly reminding them that I did this for you, and if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't have this. That is very, very narcissistic. So if you are dealing with someone like that, you need to cut it off and move on to the next, because that is not normal. That is weird. Like, why would you do that? If you give someone something, that's theirs. They can do whatever it is. Listen, if I give you something, I give this to you, you can do whatever you want with this, because once I hand it over to you, it is yours to do as you please. You can give it away. I wouldn't even bother. It wouldn't even bother me. We're not looking for knocks, but they awful. Exactly. Maria's Patreon is the best investment I've made. Oh, thanks, Rose. The more educated you are, the less emotional you tend to be. I've learned this from all the books we read on your book club Zooms. Yes. Thank you, Janet. Reading a framework for understanding poverty book really opens my eyes. The more educated you are, the less emotional you are. Janet, are you in my group? Because I know some of you guys use different names here on Instagram, but I would love that you upload that book, because I would love to do another book on that in the book club. Exactly why the reason why I tell women intelligence is also part of femininity. Some people don't know the difference between a gift and a transaction. Exact, girl, Kelsey. I would like to join. If you would like to join the book club, sign up to the Patreon. Yes, I'm in your group, but I go by a different name. Okay, yeah, because I don't recognize this Janet name, and I can't really see your avatar. It's very small. But yeah, upload the book to the file section, and I'll definitely look into it. I have a friend who just broke up with her husband, and he told her all the jewelry he gave her, including engagement ring. He told her all. So did he try to take it back? Listen, you know, I can break up with my husband today or tomorrow, and he's not gonna ask me back for shit. Because I do not like that feeling, because I've been in situations before where someone has done something for me and they found every single opportunity to remind me and guilt me and make me feel bad about it. And in my country, we call it reproachful, because in my country people would tell you to stay away from reproachful people. That's what they call it in my country. um you know, so if you're dealing with someone like that, that's a very toxic person. You need to stay away from that person, because I've never given someone something and behave like that. Because if you're really giving something, and this is why I will always be blessed. I will always have people giving me things. I will always have money. I will always have everything that I need, because when I give something, I give it from the heart. I'm just learning this at 27, really late. That's okay, girl, because it took me a long time to learn this, because when I was 27, I was still clueless. Framework for Understanding Poverty, Explain Values in Each Social Class too. Very interesting book. You know what? That should be that book should be in the lineup for the book club meeting. So thank you, ladies, for suggesting it. How is social climate in a country like Trinidad? Do you plan on moving to the US? No, I do not want to live in the US. Um, I want to live somewhere. Anyway, social climate in my country, what I would recommend, this is what I'm doing, is you join a Rotary Club and you join Toastmasters. This is how you social climb in my country. You do not social climb by going to bars and freestyling and stuff like that, because it's not going to work. That's not how it works in my country, because it's very, very difficult. So I have a Rotary meeting tonight. I am on my way to becoming a Rotarian. I'm a member of the Rotary, so I would recommend that you join a Rotary club, you join the Toastmasters, you join a tennis club, you join clubs, and also join charity organizations, etc. That's how you need to social climb, especially in a country where social climbing is not that easy. Like my country. She's entitled legally to every piece of jewelry she was given. Talk about a low vibrational dust maggot. Exactly. I just say they must need it more than me and try to give it back. Mm-mm. In an argument, my husband wanted to take the washing machine. Child, that is trifling. Social climbing is easy in the Caribbean, girl. Not that easy. Depends on which island you're in. In the islands, it's more powerful. Yes, it is. Trinidad is social climb through education. That's another way to social climb, is through education. Depends on this type of school you went to, but there are different ways. There are different ways. So, pretty dress. Oh, thanks, girl. It's a, it's a little. It's in my stories on my Instagram account. It's a little romper. Social climbing is not easy here. Where are you, Dolly Gazelle? Where are you? It's not. I don't know why people think social climbing in the Caribbean is easy. It's not that easy, especially in Trinidad. It's not that easy, because trust me, if it was that easy, I would have been at the top by now. Okay, okay, Dolly, send me a DM. Let's talk about it. In Grenada, small, so it's easier versus Trinidad, I guess. Yeah, in Trinidad, it's Grenada. Okay, Grenada is a small island, and you guys are majority black, right? In Trinidad, the people with the money, in Trinidad, the system in Trinidad is different. It's not that easy. And then Trinidad is a country that is known to be dangerous. So the people with the money, they move away from, they move far away from where regular people live. They don't go out, and you're not gonna see them at a bar, or you might see them at your favorite restaurant, but they're over on the table with their friends or whatnot. But these people, they socialize at home, especially now with this pandemic. They socialize at home. They have everything at their house. They throw parties at their home. They throw dinners at their home. They're not out there hanging out at some bar where you, a random person, can just walk up to them and strike up a conversation. It's not that easy, girl. You know, so it depends on where you live, it depends on the country and everything like that. Like for example, Nigeria, my sister's having a great time social climbing in Nigeria because it is, well, networking. Let's call it networking. She's having an amazing time in Nigeria because it's working out for her. And you guys, some of you guys follow my sister. She's doing good in Nigeria right now. Once you're in certain circles in the islands, it's like the doors completely open for you. The wealthy do everything together. Exactly. So yeah, so just so you know, it's not that easy. Okay, because if it was that easy, trust me. I see. Thanks for explaining, Miriam. Try and link up with the lodge's wives. The lodge's wives. Yeah, and then you know, when you go back to the book, because you know that's another thing that I'm working on. You really have to have your story ready, because you know this is not like the 90s or the 80s. This is like 2021, where people can easily Google you and look you up, and you know figure you out. But you know, always make one friend in there. What I would recommend, if you have to register a business or start an NGO or something that you can attach to your name and put in your LinkedIn profile and stuff like that, go ahead and do that, so that when people ask you, because that question is going to come up when people ask you, so what do you do? You know, you can talk about that. I'm tired of having to stop at places like Shein, Amazon, or shop at places like Shein, Amazon, AliExpress. I can't wait until I can buy designer clothing all the time. Oh well, if that's your goal, go right ahead and get those designer clothing. But I can tell you, the people in my country that have money, they're not wearing designers. Nigeria is major money, especially if you're attractive and have some intelligence. Nigeria, just live in the commercial cities, be pretty, rich or foreign. Otherwise, it's hard in Nigeria. I'm Nigerian. Lived there till 17. Yeah, I understand. I understand, because my sisters say that, you know, to get in the circles in Nigeria, if you're foreign, it's easy. But if you're Nigerian, especially if you come from certain tribes, it's very difficult. Like you probably have to. I know, you know what, I understand. I completely understand. This is why I always agree that, you know, I always say that, you know, you should go where you're treated best. I am not opposed to moving and going to a whole different country if you have to, so that you can level up. And you know, by the time you level up and you return to your home country, you know, you can start social climbing there. These places have great quality clothes as well. It's all about choosing the right material. I've ordered clothes for $20 that look like $1,000. I think if most women had financial liberty and never had to worry about money because they had so much of it, they wouldn't marry. That is true. I believe in that. But guys, I gotta go. It's telling me that I have 2 minutes remaining. I didn't even know there was a timestamp on my live video, so I gotta go. And I'm gonna try to upload this video, because last time I was live on here, Instagram would not let me download the damn video, y'all. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.